Hello quilters, welcome back to my channel. I am Kristen with ISeeStarsQuilting.com. Today I'm going to share a lot of the stuff that I've been working on. You know, I wish I was one of those quilters who could have like one project at a time, work on it, finish, pick the next project, move on to the next one, you know. The day that I started quilting, I was like, I will only work on one project at a time. And that lasted about 10 minutes until I got an idea for the next project and I went shopping right away. So I have had a lot of projects in the works lately, and I've mentioned it a couple times and y'all have said, well, we want to see what you're working on. I want to see what you're doing. So that's what today's video is, as well as I have had a request to go through the quilts that are on my quilt ladder back here that I keep in my office always as decoration as well as inspiration and just kind of like a memory of where I've been, because a lot of these quilts are quilts that I did quite a while back. It's nice to see like you know, quilts that have been a while and know how far I've come as an artist and how far I've come as a quilter. Plus, I'm going to show you some of the new stuff that I've been working on. I don't have the time to devote a video to each and every single quilt, so we're going to cram them all into this one video for you and show you all of the beautiful, fun things that I'm working on. So starting here at the top of the quilt ladder, and by the way, for those of you who are going to ask, I got this sign right here, the Do What You Love sign from Amazon. I'll link to it in the description box down below, so if you like it or if you like another phrase like that, you can find it. This quilt right here is a fun jelly roll quilt that I did, and I really love the way that it turned out. It was a quilting experimentation and I wanted very straight lines, and I tried my best to get very straight lines on it. It's not perfect, but I love that it is all sewing themed. Of course, it's Tula fabric, so it is really fun and colorful and bright. And then I enjoyed doing a really fun polka dotted binding on it just to kind of top it all off and make it extra fun. Moving down a little bit is this quilt. Now this quilt is one of my early pieces, and I had so much fun with it. Let me show you a bigger picture of it, and then I want to show you some detail work on it too, because I really enjoy this one. This quilt for me was a very big learning process because I figured things out as I went, which is how I normally do things. But in this one particularly, I really had not much of an idea of what I was doing as I was working on it. I just was hoping that I could figure it out as I went. Now, if you're looking right here, you can see that it is these cute little half hexies. Now, I want to show you something, and when I pull back and look at the rest of the quilt again, you'll see this is not a complicated quilt pattern because these are sewn in rows. Okay, so if you want to do a half hexie pattern like this, so here's the hexie, it matches up with the next one and it makes one solid row, and then you sew all of your rows together, right? So it's not as complicated as it looks. And then you can go ahead and you can add some solid hexies. This still has the seam right there down the middle. It just looks like a solid hexie because of the way that I put it together. Okay, and you can even see some like serious imperfections here. But you know what? It was one of my first quilts. I love it. I love the design of the fabric. I love the typography fabric as well, and it's one of my favorite ones. Plus I used my hot pink thread in it, and I put to use those decorative stitches that I thought were really cool. So that's how I did my quilting on it. I just did straight line quilting, but I took my time with the decorative stitches that were on my sewing machine, and I tested different ones out, and you know what, it turned out to be a really cool project. And then because I didn't know how to finish it, this is what the outside border of it looks like. I wanted to do something kind of abstract, kind of fun, kind of different. You know, it was a really big experimentation on it. And I absolutely love the way that quilt turned out. It brings back good memories whenever I look at it. Moving down from my half hexie quilt to the next one on my quilt ladder is this one. And this one is a pattern of my own. It's a Cassiopeia pattern. Actually, if you take my Modern Quilting Made Easy course, where I take you step by step how to do a quilt from start to finish, It's an 8-week program, and together we make a quilt. So actually I sew with you in the videos and teach you all my tips and tricks as I go. But this is the pattern that goes with it. That's the only way that you can get this pattern, but it's called Cassiopeia. And then I went ahead and I did the quilting with a variegated thread. Isn't that pretty? And so here's the whole quilt, and I love the way this came out. I love the colors of this. I love the stars within the stars. It is such a pretty quilt, and it means a lot to me because it is one of my course quilts, and because I've seen so many beginner quilters take this pattern and feel so confident in their finishing of this quilt because it looks really impressive and exciting and fun and complicated, but when you break it down the way that I do, it's not, and it becomes accessible to even the most beginner quilters. And then finally, at the very bottom of this quilt ladder here is this one. Now, this quilt is just a, like, I don't know, it's kind of crazy, okay? So it is a jelly roll quilt, and I used it to experiment with on my long arm. So I don't want to call it like a trash quilt because it still performs perfectly as a quilt. However, if you look closely, like in here, all of the quilting is just crazy. You know, I started doing some straight line quilting, then I decided I wanted to do some meandering, then I tried to do feathers, and then I tried to do, you know, loops and roses and all kinds of different things, and sewing back and forth, and I just was experimenting. You know, there's not another way to learn how to do these stitches other than to practice on something. And so I made this entire quilt a experimentation, a project where I just was learning my quilting. And so that's why I keep this on my frame, is because it's an example of what it takes. You know, practice is really like the only way that you can get there and you can get those skills. So it's a reminder of what you have to do to get to where you want to be. Another quilt that I have been working on is one that you saw me kind of tease about in my videos several times. It is a pattern from Emily Dennis, and here is the gorgeous finished piece. What I want to like really point out is that this quilt came together very easily. It was a ton of pieces, a ton of cutting, but and I'm going to put a link across the top here for another video. I also did some experimenting on the quilting with this one. Can I just like brag for a second? First of all, I did not come up with this quilting, okay? This is not my design. I am in no way taking credit for this. This is actually a design by Carly Porter, and I used her files on my long arm machine. And so Carly has done the work on this pattern, but I have just fallen in love with the graffiti quilting that she does. It's incredible. Now, I will say I loved working on this. I loved seeing it all come together, but this quilt in total took about 3 days to quilt, okay? And so many bobbins that I lost count, okay? It is a lot of thread, but gosh, it is incredible. And to have a quilt that looks like the ones that Carly Porter puts together and the beautiful designs and graffiti quilting that she does, it really makes my heart so happy. I am so thrilled to have one of these quilts. Now this little quilt right here is a fun quilt that I made with a jelly roll. It was actually a fun sew along that I did with my membership group. It is the Stitch Sister Inner Circle. If we had a challenge and it was just a jelly roll day. And so this was the pattern that I came up with, the jelly roll. And of course the striped fabric was not part of my jelly roll, but you know, I wanted to add some extra flair in there. And then of course I couldn't let it go without quilting a whole bunch of stars on it, which I just adore. I love the way it came out. I love the way the binding came out. Oh, listen to this. Something else fun that I have to share with you is this box right here. Now, I took a chance and I ordered one of the remnant or scrap stash boxes from Missouri Star. I can't remember exactly how much it was. I'll have to go back and look, and I'll put the cost of it right over here next to me on the screen. So that's what I paid for this box, and it's just a stash box, essentially, kind of like a remnant thing. And look at all the goodies that I found inside. So I mean, first of all, it is a lot of fabric. It is exactly that. It's just a scrap stash. Not all of them go together, but there are some really, really good gems in here that I will definitely enjoy cutting up and playing with and making a good scrappy quilt out of, right? And so I just wanted to give you that look into something that I experimented with. So yeah, it's been quite busy. It's been busy here, but you know, I'm having a great time. And if this is the type of content that you like to see more of, like the behind the scenes stuff, or if you're more into like the tutorials and the step-by-step and how to do things, you know, let me know, give me kind of a heads up on what it is that you enjoy so that I can produce more of the type of content that you like. I would love, love, love if you would comment down below and let me know what pattern is one of your favorite that you're working on right now. What is one of your go-to patterns? I would love to hear that too, because I think, you know, we can definitely learn from one another and get inspiration from one another. And all of that starts with just being in a community like we have here on YouTube, where we're all like-minded, fabric-loving, quilt-loving friends on here. And I love that everybody is so nice and kind in sharing their knowledge within the quilting world. It's been super helpful for me as a self-taught quilter, and it's been really good for me to just be able to expand my knowledge by watching other quilters here on YouTube too. If you have not hit that subscribe button down below, I would really appreciate it if you would do that for me. That really shows that you appreciate what I do and the way that I'm trying to contribute to the creative world. So thanks for hanging out with me for a bit today. I appreciate you watching this video. I appreciate your influence and your love of creativity. It inspires me every single day. I hope that you have a wonderful day and that you get some time to create something wonderful today. I'm Kristen with ISeeStarsQuilting.com. I'll talk to you later. Bye.